So this is an awful number. Before I talk about this, just a bit of science. The R naught of measles is between 12 and 16. What that means is if an individual has measles, he can spread it to 12 to 16 people. The maximum R naught for COVID-19 was between 6 and 7. So just for comparison. Anyway, back to the whole measles thing. So when you see these high level of measles, your instinct is to go, oh, RFK Jr., right? But in my opinion, the problem is much, much deeper than that. And if you want proof of that, I would watch this video. This is Dr. Mike debates RFK Jr. supporters. Now, what you're going to notice if you watch this video is the RFK Jr. supporters use a combination of anti-intellectualism and pseudo-intellectualism. As in, they don't believe in experts, anti-intellectualism, and they have a little pocket of knowledge that would sound impressive to lay people, but when presented to a medical professional is basically very incomplete. Pseudo-intellectualism. So I want to focus on the anti-intellectualism here because that's been around for a very, very long time. So when I look back into it, 18th and 19th century were the first time you're seeing stuff like this, and it was amongst religious people because you had preachers saying believe in the heart over the head, as in your emotional connection with God was more important than any theological training. Now, this problem was exacerbated by the fact that America was expanding westward at that time. So these new colonies, they didn't bring over preachers with theological knowledge or theological background. It's just that whoever was the charismatic guy who could preach was the preacher, right? So this eventually evolved into fundamentalism. So Christian fundamentalists basically reject science. They have to because a lot of science contradicts the Bible. If you want to see an interesting example of this, if you look up the group where the largest part of that group rejects climate change, it's evangelical Christians. And there's another problem at play. So the anti-intellectualism is there, but another problem at play right now is that we're in the middle of a populist movement. Populist movements tend to think that elites are the enemy. And in a lot of situations, the educated are considered the elites. And you can see that in this administration because they're dismantling education and whatever education they're leaving behind is propaganda, basically. So this is a thing that's been around forever, this anti-intellectualism. In fact, there's a quote that I want to read to you that kind of sums this up perfectly. So Isaac Asimov wrote this in 1980. There's a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there has always been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life. Nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. That last part, my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Watch that video. You'll see that in action. All right, have a good one, folks. Stay safe out there.